Hello my dear Pisces, this is your love and spirituality reading for the time between May 16 and May 31st, 2018 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. I read for the signs in order of most liked videos, so don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for your sign so I read for you bright and early. I have put astrological information for the month of May in a video of its own that you can check out in my playlist Q&A. You can also find it at my webpage www.queenofcupstarot.se. The reading can go both ways. The message is for the people who watch it, so if you cross-watch for another sign and recognize yourself in the reading, just trust your own intuition and you will get the message you need. For this reading, I used the Osho Zen Tarot by Deva Padma, and I will start shuffling your cards. So, when I open your deck here, I see a ripeness in reverse and exhaustion in the reverse. So, two nines, and both are in the reverse. They are connected to the Hermit card. So, it might be that you're struggling a little bit with loneliness and feeling exhausted and not finding a kind of your center of gravity. Okay, so I pull the Divine with Love and Light. And here we have compromises in reverse together with exhaustion. So it might be that you have compromised yourself to exhaustion. You have given too much, tried too hard, stretched too far. So it's a saying that you should clean up on your own backyard. And here it's almost like you have cleaned up also everyone else's. Okay, so I call the four archangels in the four corners of the world, and here we have laziness together with exhaustion. So I'm thinking you are in avoidance of something. You want to have pleasantries. You don't want people to be at each other's throats. You want to have like a nice harmonious time with your loved ones. So that's why you're stretching this far. You are trying to make people happy and to try to keep harmony. It's kind of you're making your bed becoming a little bit like codependent. So if someone else tries to mess this up, you try to clean up even harder. You don't expect someone else to help you or to also take responsibility. Okay, that's kind of a little bit of question for you. So I call the 6 elements, and here we have patience with exhaustion. So not only are you working very hard, you're also very patient. So it seems very loving of you. It's like very Christian, turning the other cheek kind of thing. So it's sweet. It's also very it's like you have learned this lesson very well, but in the same time there's other things with the teaching that you haven't learned, like that you are worthy the same thing as these the other people that you're giving so much to and having so much patience with. When are they going to have this much patience with you and fighting so hard to make you calm and happy and fulfilled and all these things? Okay, so 6 elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit and ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Pisces viewers. Politics. So politics can be a number of different things. One of them is, of course, to be non-authentic, or to show like a false facade. So it's also about not believing in yourself, and therefore you don't let people see your true face. You are fearful that the one that you truly are is not good enough. So it actually reminds me of a rather horrific dream I had. It must have been 20 years ago. I lived above a stable, actually, and one night it came a person through the door, I saw him through the glass door, part of the door that was glass, and he was sitting, it was a ghost of course, he was sitting by my bed for hours on end, it's what it felt, and saying, I don't think you are that good that you actually are. I think that you actually you want people to feel bad, you want to do bad things, you want to. And he went on, and I was trying to keep my cool and trying to, no, actually, and I tried to really explain myself to this entity. And it later on proved that this place where our stable was actually a place where people have died in the past, and this person that sat along my bed was one of them. But he actually just mirrored something that was already in me. It was horrific to have him, not at first, we had a nice conversation at first, but eventually it turned into this, that he was trying to accuse me of things, and it was very hard for me to have to justify myself. And I'm thinking, this is what you do. So you try to prove yourself. It's like you try to whitewash yourself, or trying to be holier than holy, or to and I'm thinking, you have this voice inside your head that's tormenting you a little bit. And it's actually like, if you just yield to this energy and say, yes, okay, so of course I'm not always good, I'm not perfect, I don't need to be perfect, I do my best all the time, and that's enough. That's enough for anyone. That's no one can ask more from you than do the best with what you have, and try to make the best decisions. And then the outcome, it's kind of out of your hands, because it's very, very easy to be wise and you know, when you have hindsight, when you can look at the situation from, oh, I should have done that, of course. But you didn't realize that in that situation, because you didn't know, you didn't have the knowledge that you have like into the future. So many people seems to be so stressed over that they are not good enough, but you are a sparkle of God. You are a sparkle of the divine. You are part of, like, the other person is another you, you are another them. We are all connected. So no one is good, no one is bad. It's just, we have different parts of ourselves that we kind of don't want to acknowledge, and to not acknowledge them is making a big fat shadow. And that's why I had this, like, unprotected place within me, so this ghost could come in and mess with my head, because I was messing with my head. So when you mess with your head like this, you create a big shadow. You always feel like you're unjustified, you're doing the wrong thing, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not good looking enough. So you start to hide and try to show like a facade to people that they could actually like and accept, and maybe they would stop bothering you. But who's really bothering you is you yourself. No one would be able to irritate you with like attacking you if you weren't irritating yourself already. So they're just showing where you are still wounded, where you still have not healed yourself and not kind of forgiven yourself. So call Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Spirit and Ether to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Pisces viewers. So I want my dear Pisces to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. Okay, so I will just tune in to your reading for a few seconds here. Okay, so my dear Pisces, this is your future, and this is your now, and this is your past. So in the past here we have sharing. So sharing is a very beautiful card. It might be also showing a person like Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. And it's like a very generous card. It's a generous person. This is the kind of thing that I was talking about, this with you loving you, like supporting yourself as well as you support others. Love yourself as you love others. Respect yourself as you respect others. Then it creates balance, and this is beyond illusion. So it's like seeing a situation from above. And here you have Five of Swords. That's when you start to compare yourself. and also with what you should have done and shouldn't have done, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So that's, I mean, it becomes a little bit messy. But I'm thinking this card says that you already have the knowledge that it takes to help yourself from whatever situation you are tormenting yourself with. It's like you are the ghost in your life. You are the one, the only real problem actually for yourself. So if you would start to become more generous towards yourself, see things from an above perspective, like you are equally worth as the other people in your life, and they are equally worth towards you. It's like growing up. Both these cards is about growing up. This is a person that's being really good in taking care of others, but also really good in taking care of themselves, because you are both equally loved. So everyone is the same in the eye of God, okay? And Beyond Illusion is also like, it's very grown-up cards, like being a very adult person, taking responsibility. You can't take responsibility if you're fearful and feel like maybe a little bit alone and having problems with digesting different things from the past. It seems mostly being in the past, like things that you have done in the past, or so give yourself some slack. It's no use in a kind of reliving the past over and over again, and I should have done that and I should have done this. Yes, if you were in that situation today, but not in that day, because then you had this and this knowledge and you didn't have this knowledge. Be grateful instead that you got this new knowledge that making you wiser now. That's why we're here anyway, to become more and more experienced and wise. So, and here we have the Source card, so it's something about your soul and experience. So it's just this, what I told you, that we are supposed to go through difficult things because our soul wants to experience this universe, wants to know firsthand, with firsthand experience, how it is to be in different cultures, different religions, in different genders, different ages, doing that mistake or this mistake. That's why we're here. We're here to have this somewhat a little bit dark experience. It can be very light and bright also, if you make it light and bright. But well, it seems like you might have problem with an air sign, for example. Here you have fire again. This is usually Leo. It's connected to the Strength card. It's, yes. And here you have, it's like a prison here, a little bit, like a prison. And I'm getting this sense of the ghost again and healing. No one can touch a person that's whole. So no one can bother you, or like, it's like we see a lot of like judgmental things here about you, and no one would be able to judge you if you wouldn't judge yourself. It's good to judge oneself, you know, keep an open perspective and see, okay, next time I will try this instead. That's one thing. But to say, oh, I should have done this instead, and oh, I'm an awful person, it's like a wide, it's a big difference between these two things. One is healthy and one not so much. Okay. And here we have transformation. So transformation is death. And we have conditioning here and silence. So it's a little bit, I'm really not, it's like something I can't really grasp here. But you're going through some kind of big change. And something that you have kept as maybe a secret needs to come to surface. So it might be that you're keeping secrets even for yourself, like things that's too awful for you to admit to yourself. It might be like the awfulness might be, I still love my mother, even though she did those things towards me. That might be the big secret. And then when it's out, well, you are better off for it, because you can then see things from an above perspective, just as the Judgment card just said. So you need to see the truth about something, because it will just put a higher perspective to things and probably make you at ease. Okay, when you see the big secrets that you are keeping for yourself, you will see that they were not so dangerous. You might think, well, I'm not very good with time. I always comes too late. Okay, so what? What's the big problem? Okay, I have impure thoughts. Okay. So whenever we see these like dark patches in ourselves, we should give them attention and a lot of love, because they are parts of us that we might not have liked for a very, very long time, and therefore they haven't developed with the rest of us. So parts of you might just be like newborns, or 3 years old, or 8 years old, or 90 years old, like really grumpy, like old archetypes within you, and you don't like them. So they haven't developed past that. They are still this young or this grumpy or whatever. So you need to invite them. You need to start to see them and invite them into the game, so you will be able to transform them and make them grow up too. Okay, so don't be afraid of the dark. Actually, in the dark, there's a lot of treasures being buried there. A lot of things that you thought were bad, but actually there to help you. So here we have the Creator. And it's rather interesting because we have sharing here and beyond illusion. So some of you might be dealing with like a soulmate or a soul family, or it's some kind of connection here, very strong connection. It might be like a soulmate reunion as well, since beyond illusion is Judgment Day, so the deads are arising, and you also had the death card here. So sometimes we die from each other, and then we meet again in another lifetime, and we don't remember the story, like the story behind. So we just feel this very strong pull towards a certain person. And here we have clinging to the past. So not only a pull, we can feel a lot of fear with that person. Like, oh God, that person, I never want to speak to that person. Really, they have been maybe our companions for eons, but something happened. Maybe they died from us, or there was some parting or something unforgiving maybe. So we just feel like, as when we come to see that person, we can feel like big trauma or a lot of disappointment. I should have done this. It should have been you. We should have been together. We should have done this. I should have chosen differently. Well, you didn't. Sometimes we lose chances in our lives, and it can be a very bitter experience, of course. But still, if we can't do anything about it, what's the use in crying over this spilled milk, or carrying around this past like a badge and saying, well, this is what I could have lived with, this is how it could have been. Yes, it could have, but it's not. So it's more positive to focus on making something beautiful in your present situation than worrying about what could have been, and you will get a myriad of chances. Okay, this is probably not your last life here on earth, so you will get the chance to do this all over again. And here we have guidance, and it comes in the reverse. So it's it's like a person rather wants to complain about how life became, rather than putting in the work and willingness to fix the situation now. So it might be that you're dealing with, for example, a fire sign that's caught in the past and doesn't want to, build anything for now. It's just like, you did this big mistake in the past and now it's all over. So it might be this kind of situation. It doesn't have to be you that's bitter and stuck in the past. It might be that you have all the hope in the world, but other people are stuck in the image of you. Like they saw how you were when you were young, and now they still think that you are the same. You haven't changed. They don't know about your transformation. So it can be a little bit unforgiving situation. It's not like a person being bitter. I don't see any bitterness. I just see that maybe there's a distrust, or someone knows you for who you were before, or you know a person for who they were before, but still you're soulmate, so nothing can change that. It doesn't mean that you will live happily ever after. Soulmates never mean that. Soulmate means that you are two souls that's going through this different experience together, challenging each other, loving each other, supporting each other, making a mess for each other, coming and maybe destroying the one person's life, so they have to work very hard to get on top again, and by that we are developing each other. So it's not it's very romantic in one way, because it's some kind of loyalty that brings us back together again and again. And it's also karma, of course, if we should be very, like, a little bit on the bitter end of things. But it's also this loyalty, and it's also love. So some magnetic force drawing us in back together. But it's like some person here might have got a little too much of the good things, like a little bit too much trauma, a little bit too much disappointment, a little bit too much like being abandoned or whatever, and now they don't believe in the project. Okay, they have lost faith in the project. So and here we have postponement. So postponement might be a person in your life that's kind of not communicating with you. It can also be you not communicating with another person, or you're trying to put a lid on something, you don't want it to boil over, so it's very fiery here, a lot of passion, and maybe you don't want to admit to it, or someone else doesn't want to admit to it. Anyway, people are carrying around the past here, the square, the past. This is how it was. I remember it was like it was yesterday. I can see it in front of me. It was awful. And we don't want to live through that awful thing again. So that's a good thing. We have had this experience now. We don't want to do the same mistakes again. So we actually learned something. It's not just that we are stupid and clinging to the past. It's we actually learned something from the past. So that's a good thing. Honor yourself for these kind of things. But be aware. That's the only thing I'm asking here for your sake, is to be aware, to see when you are obsessing about the past. It's very good to obsess about the past if you're learning something from it. If you're obsessing about the past just to keep you miserable now, that's not a good thing. So you need to become aware of what you're doing so you can do the best thing for yourself right now. So, and here we have possibilities, so it's in the reverse, so kind of no possibilities. So I'm thinking that someone has learned something from the past, from a soulmate, and they say no, okay, they don't want to. They are not going to cooperate. They are not going to jump on this ship. They are not going to fall in love. They are not going to create a project. They are not going to, because they have learned from their mistakes in the past. So it seems like this is the red thread in the reading, that there have been made some mistakes in the past, and people learned from it, and some people regret it. So that's how it is. It's nothing you can change. It's no reason to be bitter. It's what it is. And here we have We Are the World, and it's also in the reverse. So maybe there's someone wants to commit to someone else, but that someone else remember that they were not commitment material in the past, so they are darn not commitment material in the future. Or there might be a project here as well, and someone remember that, no, my partner is not good with money, I'm probably not going to trust this person with this project. So it's things like this. It's wisdom on one hand, but it might also be like unforgiveness, or also distrust and things. But it's up to you how you deal with this. The divine trusts you, okay? You are here to experience. You are a front runner. You are a pioneer. You are the one to investigate all these different angles of this thing. How am I supposed to do in this situation? Shall I forgive? Shall I act like nothing ever happened? Shall I just swallow the bait again and believe in the dream that someone is trying to sell to me here? Or am I going to remember what's written in my bones, that it won't work out this time either? Okay, the first option seems more fun, but the other option might be why you came here in the first place, to learn this. I can't say. You need to use your wisdom and your intuition in this situation. But it's no beef. No one is angry. I don't see like unforgiveness in that sense. It's more like being here to experience things. Have experienced a lot of bitterness and things in the past that might have been giving traumatic or bad memories, and it was an experience that your soul wanted. So it's nothing more than that, and what you make of this experience is up to you and your soul, because you are the same. So trust yourself, because you are the soul. So it's very fiery here. So your soul came down it was manifested, and things happened, like it's like a spaceship is landing and then dunk 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 crash landing in this kind of way. So it was a tough landing, but you learned a lot of things from this. It's not like I don't see a disaster, I just see wisdom coming, and also a little bit like a no thank you coming. So no thank you can sometimes be what we need to say, even if what the person is presenting is our dreams. If we have the experience that this dream is a fake one, we need to trust ourselves. If we still believe in the dream, we should make a run for it and like jump on it. But if we, in this case, it seems like it's no. You don't feel the hope anymore. You don't feel the love. You don't feel the juice. You don't feel the dreams. You just feel like, no, this is not going to work out. So you have learned something, and that was good. You don't have to go to the... It's like people use what they have learned to torment themselves, and that's kind of what's unnecessary. The other things are necessary and great. It's just this little element that's unnecessary, to torment yourself with what you have learned. So it's like going to school and being very angry that you didn't learn like college degree math in first grade, like when you were 7 or 6 or 7, okay? It's stupid. Okay, so it's like you have too high demands on yourself. Here we have past lives. So it's like it's going almost backward, but I think it's go full circle. This person comes from an experience to a past life, going here through this postponement, saying no to something because they remember how it was in a past life. So if you fall in love with someone and suddenly they withdraw, this is the reason. Okay, why they withdraw. They remember this didn't go that well in the past. I remember now. So you can't kind of accuse someone, well, they ghost me here and I never saw them again. Yes, but their soul remembered something. Maybe you were better off from not going into this. Maybe it would have been hell on earth. So even if you felt the strong pull, maybe the no was coming in the right time. So don't try to... Don't personalize things. What other people do is usually not that personal towards you. They are usually doing things that because they have a hunch, they feel a feeling, they feel nauseous, they feel happy, they feel sad. So it's usually not about you. Yes, you might rise certain feelings inside of them, but it's their feelings and they are rising inside of them. So it's still not personal. If they don't want to be with you, the only thing that is, it's actually that you can't control them and you can make them into what you want. That's the only thing. It doesn't have to be personal. It's not a beef. A person is just feeling like, no. I remember this. I don't want to do that again. So it's a person like burnt fire is burnt to a child is waiting fire. So it's a saying we have in Sweden. I guess there's some kind of variant of it also in English. Someone has been burnt and they avoid what burned them in the first place. So here we have change and it's in reverse. So it's the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So someone says, no, I'm not going to do this cycle all over. I remember how it were. I have been through this like hurricane before and it wasn't like, it didn't make me happy the first time and it won't make me happy the 1000th time. So I'm saying no. So I'm thinking someone has been wise from experience. Boring also, yes, because we want to be romantic. We want to throw ourselves out in new adventures. But there's a time to be wise as well. And it doesn't have to be like right or wrong. It's just another experience. Like now I'm experiencing how it is to say no instead of yes that I always said before. So you just experience another half of the total experience. So it's not a bad thing. Nothing is. It's just whatever comes for you comes. And we can see this circle here. So I'm guessing you have done this a lot, like this same drama over and over again. And every time you do it, you learn different things and you try different actions. Now you're trying the action, your soul is trying the action of saying no or not engaging or not throwing yourself under the bus, or not jumping on the romantic getaway ship with this person, or not wanting to create your dreams. Yes, it might be a missed opportunity, of course, but you are here to experience missed opportunities too. So whatever comes, it's fine. Just trust yourself, because you are a soul that wants to see things from many different sides of the existence and experience. So this is just another side to it, and might not be that enthusiastic, but it seems to lead you towards success anyway. So yeah, this might be you, but it might also be like a fire sign in your life. We have Leo there, and here is Aries, the Two of Wands. So I'm thinking that this is your soul, and it can be a fire person in your life, and it's mirrored, like you see your soul in this fire person. It doesn't have to be a fire person. It can just be a soulmate as well, someone that's very attractive to you, or you are very attracted to them, or it's going both ways, but someone's saying no, and it's a victory. Finally, you win. So it might be that someone has, for example, you have learned to be more dignified. Okay, you have learned to respect yourself. You have learned to put boundaries. So this time you're saying no, and that's a victory, because you were here to now learn to put boundaries, even if that meant to not go with what you dreamt. So it's actually beautiful, and it seems like it's time for a celebration. So trust yourself. Don't feel lost. You are not lost. You know what's going on. It's just that you don't believe in yourself, as I do. Okay, and here we have death, the moon, wheel of fortune. So I'm thinking big karmic chunks is being thrown around here, and it may be good that you are ducking down and saying no thank you, because maybe this is a lesson you have already learned 1,000 times, and now you are successful because you finally have learned a lesson. You finally learned to say no to unpleasantries, something that you know is going to end badly. So you don't have to have the experience, you have had it before. So I'm going to read the center card for you. The center card is always like very potent. It's tying together the whole reading. And it comes in the reverse. They usually do, it seems. So, and it's a good thing in this case, actually. Yeah, I'm feeling, because it's you saying no. So it's a boundary. I will hold it in the upright though, so you will learn this card, and then you can put it in the context to your own life situation. The eagle has an overview of all the possibilities contained in the landscape below, because you have so much experience. So this landscape is built by your experience. As he flies freely, naturally, and effortlessly through the sky, he is really in his domain, very grand and self-contained. This card indicates that you are at a point where a world of possibilities is open to you. Because you have grown more loving towards yourself, more self-contained, you can work easily with others. Because you are relaxed and at ease, you can recognize possibilities as they present themselves, sometimes even before others can see them. Because you are in tune with your own nature, you understand existence is providing you with exactly what you need. Enjoy the flight and celebrate all the varied wonders of the landscape spread before you. And this time it's kind of the other way around, that you understand that you can't work easily with others, for example, that, well, we have done this before, it didn't work out. Or that you recognize hazards, like not possibilities, but that this dream might not be like exactly the dream that's going to actually make you happy, but it's a wrong road. So you're saying no, because you have now boundaries. Mind can accept any boundary anywhere, but the reality is that by its very nature, existence cannot have any boundary, because what will be beyond the boundary? Again, another sky. That's why I'm saying skies upon skies are available for your flight. Don't be easily content. Those who remain easily content remain small. Small are their joys, small are their ecstasies, small are their silences, small is their being, but there is no need. This smallness is your own imposition upon your freedom, upon your unlimited possibilities, upon your unlimited potential. So that's true, but it's also good to be content. If we follow the dream so hard that we sell ourselves off in the process. Like we want this lover so hard that it doesn't matter what they do to us or how they treat us. Then it's time for a little boundary and time for kind of becoming content with what you already had before this person came along. And now they're coming here again. So what are you going to say? You say no. So this is what I see, but what you are choosing is up to you. There's no right and wrong here. You can go for another lap with this situation again. It's telling you that you're going to have success. So someone is going to have success anyway. But for your main population here, I see that you are going to say no, or someone is going to say no to you. There's not going to be a second chance, and that's what's like finally eureka, they got it. Okay, you can't just go after any dream and try to make it work. It needs to have some basics. For example, if you want a relationship, there needs to be communication, there needs to be honesty, loyalty, and maybe a like common future dream. So if there's no communication, no loyalty, no honesty, and no common dream, maybe that's why you're saying no. Okay. So I will take a Wild Kuan Yin Oracle card for my dear Pisces viewers. See what's going on with you. This card. The Princess of Red Poppies. So I'm thinking it coming from this energy here, and it's spilled here as well. Very red. And it's poppies. Beautiful. It came a little bit in reverse, so I'm not going to read it that way. Maybe if I see something, I will tell you, but I usually read them in the upright position because they are like above anything that's like shifted. It's from an above perspective. I bring you the gift of expanded perception. So this is the eagle, the expanded perception. You can see something now, because why you can see something is because you are more experienced. You couldn't have seen it before. You might think like, oh God, why did I let this douche into my life the first place? Well, you did, because you didn't have the experience that you have now. So be grateful. Now you have the experience. I bring you the gift of expanded perceptions, of being able to see the past lives, the present, and the future more clearly. As you see the higher truth, you will experience relief, peace, and inspiration. Allow me to help you leave the past behind you, find happiness in the now, and open up to the beautiful future ahead of you. Though you may struggle to feel free from what you have once been, be assured that any power the past has held over you is ending now. That's the Death card. While there may be memories that arise, clinging to the past and postponement there, found or painful, the emotional charge that these hold for you is fading away. That's why you are able to say no. Soon enough, it will seem as though the suffering you once endured was akin to a bad dream, even if it moved you deeply at the time. You need to grow through an experience. Even if you don't understand all the details as to why, know that you didn't do anything wrong. With grace and trust, allow what has been to have been, and feel gratitude for the moment in which you found yourself now, trusting that everything serves in its own way. It is your time to feel relief and peace. You are meant to be planting different seeds now, so a different reality can make itself known in the future. So it's also the law of repulsion. If you say no to something you don't want, things that you do want will have space in your life before the space was taken with this what you didn't want. Yes, for this to happen, you must be freed from your attachment and fear of the past. You must accept a gift of release. This will help you do all that you are capable of, fearlessly and lovingly. It is time to move on from the past as a new person. A new life is possible for you, and it's not in some distant future. It has already begun, or very soon will do. Trust in your inner perceptions, giving you through dreams, intuition, symbols, or signs that just seems to speak to you at a deeper intuitive level. These are real, accurate, and natural part of your own higher intelligence. You do not have to be afraid or resist your growing perceptive abilities. So it's this as well. Before, maybe you trust other people too much, and you trusted what other people told you because you didn't trust yourself. And now you trust yourself. So then you have the ability to say yes or no. Oh, so it's very good. It's like you have gotten wisdom. So it's like it just came like a letter in the mail. No, actually it didn't. You have worked very hard for this, Pisces, and you deserved it. So don't hate the past. Embrace the now, and don't be fearful for the future. You are a very wise soul, and you have all the tools that you need now to create a beautiful future for yourself. So I trust in you. So start to trust in yourself as well. Okay, beautiful, Pisces. I want you to take really, really good care, and I invite you to take part of my June reading that I will perform in the middle of May. Okay, bye-bye.